disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
This is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena post-fight show, Sunday show. We're going to be talking with the panel, take some phone calls. I don't know why the chat's not fucking working, so I'll fix it as we go along. First of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. We have Punchy. We have Bernard, Jixer, Terminator, the Chitlin Disturber, the Paracua. Who else do we have in here? Fluffy Toaster, 89, Jesus M, Dark Hot Dog. All right, Captain Ivan Drago as well. Welcome to the show. Let's get this party started. Let me call a few people here, and then we'll see what they. Yesterday Gonzalo was on the show, and Mr. BDA obviously. They gave us their take, but we need to see what Jimmy has to say. By the way, guys, what do you want? Who do you want Teofimo Lopez to fight next? I posted a poll on the community section, so you guys should check it out. A lot of people, I think most people are voting for Regis Prograis. So they don't care about Tank Davis. They don't even care about Devin Haney. Can you believe that? Hold on. All right. Calling Mr. BDA, calling Gonzalo, calling Jimmy. Actually, let's get recognized as well in here. Who else? Jimmy, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show. Yeah, guys, by the way, we're also going to talk about the Munguia Derevyanchenko fight. But we're going to start, obviously, with the most important fight. Teofimo Lopez defeats Josh Taylor, becomes a WBO, and most importantly, the lineal junior welterweight champion of the world. Jimmy, give us your thoughts on the fight.
Well, the reason it kind of displayed why I couldn't come to I kept changing my mind on my pick, right? I mean, I was getting teased about it because I just couldn't. Listen, this is what I don't like about the sport today. When they don't fight enough, it's like, how do you like a guy takes a year and a half out of hockey? How are you supposed to determine how he's going to play when he comes back? It's like Josh Taylor, okay, put it this way. Josh Taylor's a pressure fighter. That's his game. He's a pressure fighter, but he's not overly athletic. Mm-hmm. So like I tweeted, he has to depend on his technique and timing, right? That's going to be his strengths. That's what he relies on. Those two skills, aspect of fighting, technique and timing erode during inactivity. When you're not fighting a lot, at least twice a year, your technique and timing, above all, is going to be affected. When you don't have the athleticism that can kind of help you get past that, like fill in the gaps, it's going to be wicked exposed. And I saw it in the Catterall fight. First off, let me go back a little bit. When it was announced, I think he might have been talking to Steve Kim. Maybe it was on the third knockdown rule. But it was Steve who told me about Josh telling him he was fine with being a once-a-year fighter. And that was back in the summer of 2020. And I remember saying, God damn. Right away in my head, I'm like, it's over for that kid. Because anybody who's fine with fighting once a year as a professional fighter is already kind of like looking at like life after boxing, because you're not going to be getting any better. And so I was kind of curious what I was going to look forward. Ramirez, I mean, every fight, go back to the World Super Series, just follow each and every progressive fight after another. He looks a little less dominant. You can just actually see, because I was watching his fights, just going up the last 2 weeks, I've been following, going back and going over his fights. And I consider, in my opinion, it was a once-a-year fighter. The inactivity was eroding the things he needed to be dominant, his technique and timing. And I believe that was the problem with Cattell. Then you add another 16 months at 32 years old at a guy who relies almost exclusively on technique and timing. That's why going in, I know everybody, including Ring Magazine, everybody was going, fucking Taylor. And I said when we first talked about it 3 episodes ago, I said, geez, my gut's going with Lopez. But, I mean, because of his mental fucking instability, I didn't know where. So this fight had all kinds of bullshit going on. And, I mean, it was kind of a sloppy fight. I mean, Lopez showed, look at his athleticism, his hand speed won the night, without a doubt. He could never get into a groove, Taylor. He could just never get into a groove. He never got in groove. You get in grooves when you're doing something a lot. It's a carryover. Look at, there's a reason guys like the middleweight who went on all the way up to heavyweight, James Tony, he would fight on HBO, right? 2 months later, he's in fucking California somewhere fighting in a nondescript card off TV. Because he knew, I gotta fight. I gotta keep fighting. If I'm not fighting, I'm not getting better. You're getting worse. Fighting is one of those things you have to do a lot on the regular, especially when you're not overly athletic. The way Josh Taylor isn't overly athletic, and I think it was quite evident the level of athleticism between the two last night. Just the hand speed, the balance, just the sheer athleticism. Like I bet you Lopez could play basketball, baseball, whatever sport he's going to want to apply at, he'll be good at because of his level of athleticism. Whereas Taylor's just a tough kid, right? Not overly rhythmic like a lot of white people aren't. And so his thing is technique and timing, which is completely eroded. Now finish up with this. He will never be world champion again, ever. He is done. He's 32. He's not going to want to fight. He's not going to want to do what it takes. No, let me rephrase that. He will not do what it takes to regain the form he was when he spent 3 years and within 3 years ripped through the World Boxing Super Series and fought all those champions and was fighting 3 times and twice a year. And then finally to where we're at now. So he's not going to do that. He's 32. His heyday's past him. He just will never be world champion again. And yeah, that's my fucking take, brother.
All right. So yeah, people are saying, who did you pick, basically? I mean, he already said it. And I mean, the Josh Taylor I saw there, it's not an excuse. Like, listen, credit to Teofimo Lopez. He's a very good boxer. And I really thought mentally he wasn't going to be all there. And I'm just not making this up because I want him not to be mentally okay, whatever. It's based on what I saw. The comments, the interview with Kriegel on ESPN, father showing. I mean, just everything just looked weird. And it's not as if Teofimo Lopez hasn't lost his mind in the past. So I had reason to believe that he would not be mentally all there. Josh Taylor, I mean, he did look terrible against Canelo, but I thought, there might be a chance that he actually regained that style that he had when he fought Progre, but that was a long time ago too. So, anyways, based on that, I made a prediction that Taylor was going to win a decision. But god damn it, what the fuck was this Josh Taylor that showed up? He looked terrible. Now, was that also in part because he felt Teofimo's punching power and counter-punching, the speed at which he was able to counter-punch? Let's get Gonzalo in here. Gonzalo, your thoughts. Why did Josh Taylor fight like this?
It's okay to be wrong, bro. It's okay to be wrong. Just the fucking Josh Taylor didn't fight the same, but Teofimo did show up. I mean, Teofimo emotional. Sometimes emotions are real good for it. They work out. I mean, they play into your confidence, right? It's just when you're emotional and you don't show up, you make excuses for yourself. It's when it goes wrong for you. But no, Teofimo definitely showed confidence, and he grew once he was getting the better of Josh Taylor in the exchanges because of the speed. The power carried, it was respectable. It kind of like translated into the fact that Taylor, he didn't go for broke. He didn't fight as intensely as he has in the past. Why? Because he didn't want to get caught. Because of Teofimo's speed, he was landing first. Therefore, he was losing the exchanges. Right? So Teofimo won a good fight. No, that was a good performance. It wasn't a great fight because Taylor really didn't show up. And I think a lot has to do with the fact that he 400 days in activity, and he's from Scotland. I don't think he lives in the U.S. So over there, you're not going to find the fighters that are going to prepare you for a style like Teofimo. The guys over there are straight up and down, different type of styles that don't replicate what Teofimo brings into the ring. So, yeah, man, that's got to count for a lot, too.
Yeah, and Gonzalo, he tried to blame weight. I mean, yeah, that's what he leaned to. Remember, after the fight, he's like, well, I'll be going up to 147. Guy, you're going to get destroyed at 147. He just is. The power is going to be a lot, heavier up there. And people are asking who I picked. Well, if you remember, my first thing, I said all along, my gut, if someone was to say, what's your gut saying? My gut was telling me Lopez. It was because of all those things I said. But then when I would listen to everybody, and I'm like, everybody's making great points about Lopez's, because you didn't know which Lopez. Gonzalo said it too. Gonzalo picked Taylor to win, but he said if Lopez uses his attributes, if he ties it all in on that night, he absolutely can win. It was just a guess. See, this is what sucks about this sport right now. When there was so many question marks, so many things that have really nothing to do with boxing. Well, I guess inactivity has something to do with boxing, but it had nothing to do with his weight. But what Gonzalo just said about the speed, yeah, he was befuddled by it. So he was trying to get off first. He just didn't have the quickness and the athleticism. Those things, that's timing. And timing, I can't stress it enough. I don't give a fuck what sport you're playing. Whether it's basketball, baseball, football, boxing, timing erodes in inactivity. When you're injured, that's just the worst thing. Everybody's like, man, you get your timing back. Yeah, it's just you can practice all you want. It's nothing like game speed.
But Jimmy,
true fight speed.
How about you might not have the timing, but you might have the heart, and that shows whether you have timing or not. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I would assume that maybe that shows. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it was a lack of heart. He wasn't afraid to get knocked out. What it was he was afraid to lose the exchanges. He knew because what it was, he wasn't in the groove. Like, he wasn't afraid, Lopez is going to knock me out. This is not how. He wasn't willing to. He didn't feel right. Like, you can tell, he couldn't get his timing. He was in no groove. He had no rhythm at all. So because of that, he's going to get into his timing's going to start. His rhythm's going to start when he catches him. That first punch coming in. If he catches him clean, then he'll follow it up, and he's going to go from there into timing. But because of the athleticism of Lopez, it's just he couldn't get into a groove. I don't question the kid's heart. But I just question the eroded skill set.
There were moments where Taylor landed an over right left, kind of, and he didn't follow it up. I didn't see that aggressiveness he had against like even Postol or these other boxers. I didn't see him do that, man. Even he had Teofimo on the ropes. He had Teofimo on the ropes, and he was hesitant.
But but he's a smaller guy who goes down low, too. Like Ramirez doesn't do that. Postel doesn't do that. Like Lopez, see how low he dips down, and if he takes a good shot, he instantly bends at the waist and then kind of dives his shoulder into your chest. So, like, what happened with Taylor when he would land that first big punch, he didn't have enough distance to prevent him from doing that. Like, he would kind of jump in too tight with that fucking first big shot, and Lopez, whether it rang his bell or not, it didn't matter. His reaction is always dipping down and jumping into his chest. And then Taylor would sit there and try to punch him in the back of the head and the side, and he got frustrated. And then he was in his own head. And once you could see Lopez smile at him in the 5th round, that's when I was like, oh, I knew right there, like, it's done. That when he come out and he did something happened, he smiled, he just looked at him, you could just see it in his face. He's gave this wicked smile and said something, probably like, I got you. And Taylor, who was responding earlier in these exchanges verbally, didn't change. His facial expression didn't change, didn't say a word, just kind of looked at him, and it was like, yeah, he had him. He knew he had, by then it was, I don't think he had the, and then again, timing, like Gonzalo says all the time, it's not about timing beats speed and power. I mean, it's all about timing. When you get this shot at the right time, that creates a lot of the power too. Because his timing's so off, his power punches were landing out too far or in too close. You see what I'm saying? Like, when he threw his big right hand, it was either catching him out at the end of it, where he's lost a lot, like we talk about, the farther your elbow is from your body, when you make contact, by orders of magnitude, power comes off that punch. Or he's in too close, and he doesn't have enough time to turn his body over and use his back and legs to push through the target. I mean, because of that, you know what I'm saying?
No, I was just gonna say, Teo had good reflexes, and I was waiting for Taylor to turn it up. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. When is he gonna turn it up? 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Losing the exchange. Teo growing in confidence, winning the exchanges, landing the shot that's snapping Taylor's head back. And I think right there, he was kind of a little, if not afraid, hesitant to pull the trigger because the other guy had the greater reflexes and the faster speed. He was the quicker guy.
Athleticism, right? Which encompasses all the things you just said, brother. Athleticism. And he's so much more athletic than that white dude. I mean, he's like, Joe Steele is the classic non-rhythmatic white guy who solely depends on technique and timing, rhythm, in a rhythm of a fight, imposing his technique and timing on somebody. And when you fight, when you're a part-time professional boxer, and fighting once in 2 years and 2 months is absurd. There's a reason why when Ward came back after a 2-year hiatus, he fought 3 warm-ups before he stepped in against Kovalev. 3. Because he was smart enough to know my timing's going to be shot.
Yeah, timing was gone, though. And I agree. I mean, obviously, the layoff, I think it was 16 months. 16 months layoff. Crazy. That's crazy. I do question his heart, Jimmy. I mean, I just feel like he could have, even with that handicap, without that timing or anything, he could have tried to let his hands go at some point. I've seen boxers do that. I remember Morales against Pacquiao the 3rd time. He was done. Morales was finished. He got knocked out. I remember Ricky Hatton struggling at some point in the middle of the fight against Floyd. He came out swinging. He got dropped, stopped, but whatever. He went all crazy in there. He let his hands go. But I mean, at least he tried. I respect that. I don't know. I could be wrong. By the way, Rider of the Storm, thank you for your super chat. He says, Salute, Teofimo did a great job neutralizing Taylor. Munguia versus Derevyanchenko was a FOTY candidate, Fight of the Year candidate fight. Both fighters proved their power and chins. Absolutely. We're going to be talking about that fight. A robbery, in my opinion. Rapax Trucking Company says, Lopez made Taylor wear a skirt, the kilt. Lopez is now wearing the famous kilt. Go ahead. Somebody wants to say something, I think. Yes.
Yeah, Teal took the punches well, man. That was very important because he was not shook. even when Taylor tried to hit off the break, that was not like hurting Teo, and credit to the referee, he was calling when Taylor was fighting dirty. But Taylor, he had success fighting like that, and he clipped Ramirez. And after that, he had that off the break. So that was kind of illegal. It fucked up Ramirez's game plan. The next fight with Catterall, it was suspect. Now the guy has been on a 3-fight questionable streak.
Yeah.
That you got to think, man, the guy was kind of overrated, really. I mean, not over. Titles and become undisputed.
Yeah, he did win the World Boxing Super Series. He beat Prograis. Some people think there was a robbery. I'm not sure about that. But I think Jimmy said, or somebody, he's been slowly on the decline. So it was a trend that was happening there, and this is the big finale, though. Him finally fucking losing, I guess. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I mean, you become champion, you become undisputed. Now you think, okay, now in your mind, you think you're the best because you are. Okay, you got all the titles, but now you stay living up where you're at in Scotland. How many fighters are you gonna fight or prepare and sparring? First of all, you're not even fighting at all, so you're not really sparring. But when you do, are you finding the level of competition to prepare you for these different type of styles? Yeah, you won and everything, but hey, you got to stay sharp, man.
Yep, exactly, brother. In his age, he's 32 years old. It'd be a difference if you take 16 months off when you're 23 because of an injury, but then you would go right into that fight. You would. Remember when I said, Bob doesn't really I don't know, like Taylor, after 16 months off, you're coming in against Lopez. That's a big ask for both of them too, but. And again, Sandor Martin, remember I said Sandor Martin, the reason why we got on, I said I wasn't going to hold that against Lopez for looking a certain kind of way because that guy's going to make everybody look bad. I said Taylor is there to be hit. He comes forward. So there's a couple of times, I'll tell you, in the first 3 rounds, when Lopez's power was at its, when he threw an overhand right, I'll tell you, if that would have caught Taylor, he whipped that motherfucker. If he just missed him by a couple inches, if he would have caught Taylor, I think it was the 3rd round, he would have ended the fight right there. Oh, my God, he put everything behind that punch. Listen, that's his thing. It's his hand speed. I'm going to tell you right now, Lopez will be like Taylor. In early 30s, you're going to see a huge difference. Unless he adapts and changes some of his style, whereas Taylor relies on timing and technique because of his lack of rhythm and athleticism, Lopez doesn't rely on technique. You wouldn't look at he wouldn't look at his feet. You wouldn't take a Lopez fight and teach a kid. You take a couple of young dudes, 7, 8 years old, and want to start teaching them boxing. His stance, the way he holds his hands, everything is adapted to his athleticism. That's what makes him feel comfortable, the way he can move and utilize his hands. Right, but you wouldn't teach a little kid that. Hands up, you know what I mean, holding your earlobes, work, bend at the waist, look through the tops of your eyes. That's the way you're supposed to go. So what I'm saying is Lopez, when he's in his 30s, if he doesn't change, you're going to see a drastic change in him because the speed that he's able to carry now and that athleticism is always the first to go. Like they say, that's the first to go is the speed, your time, the legs, and then your strength. Yeah, the strength is the last to go, your power punching.
Well, let's talk about the power. Some people are even though they're praising Teofimo Lopez for his victory, they're questioning his power at 140. What do you guys think about that?
He's got power because he's stocky, he's compact, and then when he flies in, kind of like the whole Manny Pacquiao effect. When you fly in, darting in like that, when you do land, let's not take anything away when you do land. When you miss or when you fucking get caught first, yeah, you run the risk of getting knocked out because you're colliding against another guy coming forward. So it's two forces coming forward. But when you miss and you're the force that's landing, hey, that momentum that you're bringing, it's like Manny Pacquiao. It's a lot of momentum. Bibble the same. They say he don't punch. But when he's coming in and out, yeah, that momentum, it's like a moving vehicle. Plus, he's heavy-handed and he got the reflexes. So a lot of times you're not seeing the punch when it's coming. That's why Taylor respected the dude's punch. He can correct.
Yes, I agree, Gonzalo.
He's still a power puncher at 140. Make no mistake.
Yes, 100%, brother. He is still a definite power puncher at 140 pounds. And if like I said, going into the fight, Taylor is bigger, as in like length and height, but Lopez is the stronger of the two. I guarantee it. I mean, I would bet my life if you brought them both in the gym, who can squat more, who can bench press more. Just look at his body types: wider shoulders, a thicker back. He's got thicker forearms, thicker calves. His joints are fatter. You know what I mean? Like he's got a pretty. Look at the size of the neck differences. Lopez is a stronger kid, and so yeah, I believe his power will carry. It might not be as devastating as with the smaller guys, but Gonzalo's 100% right. The kid can crack. Go,
And I
Gonzalo.
think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, Jimmy, because that means like he knows in his mind that he can blow these guys out with one punch, so he's gonna have to exercise more patience. That'll play
Exactly.
into the whole thing that he's gonna learn how to like. There's a saying in Spanish, can't quite think of it in English. No te quieras comer el pastel de un bocado mucho. How do you say that? Not try to eat everything with like in one,
At once,
in one sitting.
yeah. The cake. I don't
Yeah, you just kind of have to like take your time, bite your time, and take it in like in pieces, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. No,
Some people in the
absolutely.
chat are saying that he can even move up to 147. I mean, let's calm down here. Well, if he's gonna do it, he better do it. He's still young, like Jimmy said, because if he's relying on his reflexes and athleticism, that's the first thing that goes, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the reflexes. He's got very good athleticism. He's just a really athletic kid, and it showed last night. And it showed Taylor wasn't, and Taylor, yeah, he was in a groove, man. He was fighting a lot, or fighting what was necessary that he could really rely heavily on his timing and his technique. And it shined through back then. But now you can't fight that infrequently, especially at 32 years old. Like, it's a big difference from being 26 and 32.
He should have moved up in weight maybe 2 years ago, something like that, because he just doesn't even look right, his body-wise. He looks weak.
Remember, that was another thing. He was complaining about that in the Ramirez fight. That he was saying, this will probably be my last fight at 140 because of the difficulty of getting down to down at this weight class. I think what kept him from it is he knows there's no chance of him becoming world champion at 147. It's just not going to happen.
I think he was waiting for big paydays. Because before this fight, he was mentioning that, he still wanted to stay at 140, even though he was struggling, because he wanted these guys from lightweight to eventually move up. And so I guess he saw potential paydays. But at what price, right? At what, sacrificing yourself to make 140?
Yeah.
But by the way, there's a comment here from some rando. Says Teofimo Senior, Trainer of the Year, 2023. How instrumental was Teofimo Lopez Sr. in this fight, guys?
Well, you heard him in the second round, right? What did he say? Something funny as fuck. Now, listen, he's there for his kid. His kid loves him, clearly. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when he needs to have, next time he's up against somebody who's very athletic or is doing what it takes to neutralize his strengths. Because that's what fighting is. It's just capitalizing on the other guy's mistakes. And his athleticism easily took advantage of his ring rust.
So you're saying that Fowler was not instrumental in this fight. He wasn't really a factor.
I think he could have had anybody in his corner. I saw Lopez's athleticism, hand speed, just take complete advantage of Taylor's ring rust. It's nothing Taylor could do. He couldn't get into a rhythm. Fucking Lopez, bang, bang. And did you see the more he'd bounce around and get, like, he realized, like, that's why he started kind of clowning him a little with the body movement. Like, it was so perfect when Ward, and again, Ward says a lot of shit that pisses me off. But the dude knows what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to boxing. It's when I hear him talk just about boxing, the guy's brilliant. And when he said that punch should have not landed on Taylor when he did that leaping fucking MMA Superman punch on him. Like that doesn't land on the disputed champion, the undisputed champion of the world. Like that's bad. Like he didn't even have the whiz to get out of that. His timing, everything was so off. Like, yeah, you heard Ward. That punch should not land at a fighter at this, at this level.
Right.
Because it was so televised. He dove from so far away.
Yeah, but I say credit to Theo because he's seen the openings. He's seen the openings, and real quickly when he see the opening based on Josh Taylor's placement, wherever he's at in the ring, like as far as his feet are concerned, he's like, man, I got him now. His hands are down. I'm in better foot placement than he is. I can fucking jump in right here and catch him. So he's got a pretty quick mind.
Yep. And another thing, Gonzalo, and as you know, when these guys say someone like Taylor, when going into that later half of the fight, he knew all those things we just discussed, right? So when you're gonna look for he was obviously trying to look for that one big punch to change the whole temper of the fight, or the story of the fight, to quote Kellerman, that dick. But the tempo of the fight, or the story of the fight. So because he was looking for that one big punch, he was opening up his stance even more, because he was trying to land that fucking one big shot. So when he would go to get ready, he would just open his stance up even a little bit more. But by opening up a little bit more, that makes you flat-footed. And you could see Lopez, because I was watching his feet, and every time he really opened up, Lopez would get a little more dancey, because you good boxer, he's seeing that. Oh, look at how wide you open your feet, so you're looking to catch me, huh? Okay. Boom, he jumped in and hit him, and you jump to the side, because if you want to turn somebody, a guy with a wide stance is so easy to turn. That's why they tell you shoulder width, your insteps or the inside of your feet should never go really much farther than the outside of your shoulder blades. Because when you do, you're off balance. Like I'd get guys, if you want to teach them boxing, right, have them stand in different stances, right? The minute they get to that stance, and then just give them a light shove in the chest, they go fucking stumbling backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So because of that, you're flat-footed, and it's very hard to turn. And Lopez picked up on that and was making him pay for it every time he tried to get into a wide stance to catch him.
In the chat, Instinct, sorry, I can't even read. Ultra Instinct says, you guys mad? Teofimo dominated.
What? I'm mad? Or is he asking, am I mad, or are we mad?
It's a statement.
We're mad that he dominated? What the fuck is he talking about? I said going into the fight, Lopez has the athleticism, the speed, and the power to win this fight. I said, my gut's telling me that'll probably happen. I just need to see how bad. I can't really judge because I don't know how much erosion of his skills. So if you're going to make a fucking argument, first off, mad. Dude, you think I give a fuck about a fight that I'm going to get mad about? Bro, I got to fucking deal with the home inspectors at a house I just closed on. I give a flying fuck. Like, I'm going to get emotional over some two fucking douchebags that honestly I don't give a fuck about. It's just this community I'm talking with, like Gonzalo, Bucho, like, don't come with that feminine bullshit. Seriously. Call it a show and explain why we're mad. And if you're letting anything happen like that, cause that kind of emotion or hate, that's usually the thing they say. Hate.
You hate.
You know what I mean? That's so silly. We're breaking it down. Like, does it sound like we're mad? I think we're giving fucking rash descriptions of, you know what I mean? Non-rash descriptions of what we saw last night. It's like, did he even think about before he wrote that? You guys are mad that you won. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Seriously.
I'm happy Teal won. I thought Taylor would win. But I'm happy Teal won. Why? Because the situation he's going through with his wife. I never like to see a snake like that. You know, get the upper hand on the dude that's kind of popular, is making money, and she just wants to take him for all he's worth. So for me, I'm kind of glad. And something like that, a situation like that Teal's experiencing maybe helped him in this fight. Because, you know, they say he's on and off. And this might have been the reason he needed to show up, because he's thinking about that baby boy, that son of his, right? He needs to make money because the wife's going to take him for all he's worth, at least 50%.
Depends on where they got married, right? If it's in California, it's half.
That's what I said.
If they got,
on this.
yeah, if they got married in like Vegas, I don't know really what it's there. What I will get, and when I get emotional about boxing, about the actual boxing, it's about what happens to the sport. Because I love the sport so much, when things happen to it that embarrasses it, that demeans it, makes it look like fucking professional wrestling, that's when I get emotional about it. Because it was such a part of my life and my family going back a century. So yeah, that I'll get emotional about these individual fighters.
No, we don't give a shit.
I
mean, Jimmy,
about these dudes.
We don't care.
You know what I mean?
We don't lose any
At
fucking
all.
sleep. By the way, in the chat now we have Sokobu saying Lomachenko lost, Josh Taylor lost. Damn, who's next? White hope, y'all. So 2 white guys apparently have lost now, and so yeah, making it racial.
I'm thinking that Josh Taylor, like I said, he wasn't getting the sparring first. He hadn't fought in over 400 days. But he also got very, very complacent. He's married, he's living the good life. I mean, he's made decent money probably. But Teo, he's kind of like all over the place right now. And like I said, I think that's the motivation he needed. Plus, he ain't getting that pussy, right? So he's on edge. The testosterone is like really high. And shit, fucking... So he showed up sharp, man. He showed up when emotions can go against you, but they can also go for you. Because if you wear your heart on your sleeve and you show up, that means emotion. That's emotions. Who doesn't? The crowd goes off emotions. You go off emotions. If you're winning the exchanges and you're growing and gaining confidence inside of the ring round by round, and you become bigger, and that's what Teal was doing. He was growing in confidence. So emotionally, he was there.
Well, and I want to address the race comment, because that's just so typical, right? So like I first off, Haney didn't win that fight, okay? So you want to come in here with a bullshit fucking, you're in the minority. And not only the minority, but the people who, when they say not all opinions are the same, like there's educated opinions and shit. Like I'm not going to argue with a fucking dude who builds race engines about when I should tune my car. You know what I mean? Like, so when professional fighters across the board are saying Haney lost, so don't come at me with that. So you want to celebrate a judge's decision? Like go back to recess. Okay, but you want to throw in the fucking Taylor thing. So let me ask: one guy was black who got a robbery decision. The other guy is fucking Hispanic. So going by your name, I don't think you're Hispanic. So first off, you get no gleam, no sunshine off that. And either way, does it help your credit score, guy? Huh?
Exactly.
You gonna buy a better house?
And Jimmy, by the way, a lot of these people who are like on the racial side of the sport where they look at race, they wanted Josh Taylor to win because of the comments that Teofimo Lopez had made a few weeks ago when it came to
why
top
not?
rank.
But yeah. Exactly. But now you can use it.
Exactly.
Either way, it was a win-win. Lopez wins. Now we can shit on white people. If fucking Lopez loses, we'll pay him back. But you know what I mean? When you're insecure, when you're an insecure individual and your whole identity is wrapped into your race because you have shitty credit, you have no fucking future, you're not going to ever probably own a fucking home, fuck off. Why don't you focus on that shit, dude, and leave that race shit the fuck out of here.
All right.
Clown.
We have, let's talk about the future here quickly before we move on to the Munguia fight. Progrès. Apparently that's what everybody wants to see next. Teofimo Lopez versus Regis Prograis. How would that fight go?
That'd be a good fight.
I mean, what are the chances that Prograis wins this fight?
I would have to really look at both of them. That'd be a good fight. Listen, Lopez right now, he's got that confidence back again. That's going to, for him and his psyche, that's huge. That's a big thing for him, his confidence, just as long as he doesn't get overconfident like he did with Kambosos. He probably didn't train that hard because in his brain, he was putting that dude the fuck out of there in the first 3 rounds. Remember his father before Gambosa's fight? 1 round, first round, he was yelling at the fucking everywhere to everybody. And I believe Lopez believed that too. But going into the fight with Prograis, I wouldn't count fucking. I wouldn't say right off the top that Prograis beats him, especially because honestly, of the two, they're both extremely athletic. Lopez has faster hands. Prograis might punch a little harder, but you know what I'm saying, Gonzalo? Once you want to elaborate on that, or Bucho.
No, that's it. Basically, he's got faster hands, and I mean, if you tell me, okay, if you have him like. If you tell me, okay, well, I'm gonna have Theo like in there, and he's gonna sit in front of Regis Prograis, I think Regis Prograis will break him down to the body. But we know Theo's not gonna stand in front of him. He's gonna dart in and out. And if he can take away what he took away from Josh Taylor, basically like he's quicker, he lands first on the counter, and when Regis is landing, he's not really like hurting Theo. Then we got to fight, and I think Theo could possibly win that one. But I think that Regis actually hits harder than Taylor. So that remains to be seen, especially to the body.
I have another question now related to this one. I mean, should Teofimo Lopez take on a guy like Prograis right away, or should he take on an easier opponent? Now we know what happened after the Lomachenko win. Sorry, after he beat Lomachenko, he fought Kambosos, and that's when everything went down the drain. All that win just went to shit.
Take the tough fight. Take the tough fight, because even if he fights lower class competition, it can never. It doesn't mean that it's gonna go his way 100%. Because even against lower class dudes, when the lower class dude like Kambosos or Sandro Martin got speed, and he gets his head popped back, even though it might not be a punch that might knock you out, he starts losing confidence because he can't believe that such an athletic guy like myself is getting hit by his lower dude. So I mean, whether it's a tough or easy fight, it doesn't matter. And I think that a tougher fight actually like makes him show up more.
I agree. By the way, in the chat, J-Rod says Teofimo Lopez showed class by publicly apologizing to Josh Taylor. I like that, actually. What do you guys think about that? I mean, we can make a big deal out of this.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. The caller, but the guy who just wrote that hit the nail on the head. No, that was a class act. You know what I mean?
Is this a new Teofimo Lopez? Is this a new Teofimo Lopez?
After he said it was stupid, and I think he probably bothered him.
It was stupid, but I mean, come on, you guys know as well as I do that it's all scripted, man. They never really did hate each other. And if he made those comments, you know why he did it? Okay, if he made those comments, it's because he wanted to get to Taylor's head, thinking, okay, I'm gonna go in there and try to fuck you up. But really, what he did go in there is he went in there to box. The dad said it before the fight. We're gonna box.
But guys,
he didn't go into the fight.
We can say it. All right.
No, just quickly, could we be witnessing the birth of a new Teofimo Lopez, mentally stable, getting his life fixed outside the ring with the wife and all of that, and just now really showing us his abilities?
I'll go back to the wife, because the wife, she might have been thinking, oh, now that he won, I'm gonna go say sorry, Teofimo, and fucking cancel the court date.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. That fucking bitch is a fake. Find yourself another chick. There was like 10 chicks rooting fucking Teofimo in the fucking ringside. Go find yourself another girl. Yeah. And then you'll be happy.
Dude, dude, I can't stress, every time the camera went on her, or any time I've ever seen her in public, that bitch is never smiling. She's always got a squat. And in fact, when she knows the camera's on her, she acts bitchy. Like, that is a toxic fucking woman. I mean, she just oozes it, right? Probably fucking got good fucking kitty, tore it up in the bed. And the young man getting all fucking, you know what I mean? Because he's a professional fighter, and that he just might be a little weird when it comes to like sheepish or just not been with a lot of chicks, and she might have ripped it up and mind melted the kid. No, I think they're going filing for divorce, so that's a definite plus. That toxic bitch out of his life. He's got the confidence, because like we've said, going into the fight, can't question his athleticism and his hand speed and his power. And we've said many times, if he ties it all in, when it's all going right, he's a fucking top-notch fighter. And I even said I wouldn't be surprised if he stopped Taylor. Like, I thought out of the two, I thought Lopez. I never thought Taylor would knock Lopez out. That's when I said Lopez is a tough kid. That's what would happen if Taylor won. It would be by decision. But I could see Lopez stopping Taylor because of his hand speed.
Guys, two more things before we move on.
At least 50%.
Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Sorry, Bucha. I hope Teo gets 50% custody of his child. And if she gets to keep the child, I hope he turns. If she gets to keep him, I hope he turns out like Teofimo Senior. You know, like a little leprechaun, fuck her world up every day.
Good point. Yeah, some sort of karma.
He just has to make sure in the agreement that he makes sure she's not allowed to take the kid out of state or move far away, because they'll play that game. She's going to try to use that kid to manipulate him in every way she can. I would have him. One of those mediaries. I wouldn't even meet her. Fuck you. Have somebody else pick the kid up. You don't even need to see that bitch.
Yeah.
Nothing good comes from that relationship other than the child.
That sucks. By the way, 2 cards, 115, 113. What about that, guys? A lot of people are talking about that shit. 115, 113. 1 round difference. Yeah. It's a majority draw.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And then Taylor complained about the 117, 111. I thought those cards were right. I thought those were the right cards. He was all shook by that. Like, dude, did you not fucking well, you know what? The thing is, too, right? What I didn't like is, like, fucking Taylor, I don't know. That's, I guess it's not important. But no, I do like that Lopez apologized because he knew he crossed the line, because you can say shit. I'm going to embarrass you in there. I'm going to fucking beat the shit out of you. You can say all kinds of things and get under a dude's skin. You don't want to cross the line with saying, like, talking about death. And he knew it. That's why he publicly made a point to say that in front of everybody, because he knew he crossed the line. So I'm glad that he did it publicly. That was a man act. I got nothing but respect for that. And hopefully going forward now, he doesn't even have to say shit like that, because he's got all the hardware on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Act accordingly.
Another Timothy Bradley wasn't commentating, and some people like that. Did you guys enjoy the fight without Timothy Bradley?
I think it was important.
Like his commentary. I like his commentary for the most part. Just sometimes he tends to get a little biased with African American fighters.
Oh wow! Oh, well, that's what he always says.
No, without a doubt, he's he is. It is what it is. He's tribalistic when it comes to that. And, it is what it is. But I think it was good that he wasn't there last night, because how could he be objective when that dude's saying, because he's away at the Hall of Fame. He's up in Canastota this weekend with his family because he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so it's a good thing. I don't think he needed to be there after the shit was said, because he's a fiery dude. He says things, and he's going to respond to those comments. You watch. After this weekend, he will address Lopez's comments. I guarantee it. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing he wasn't there last night. And sometimes it's too much. I don't know why they need 2 color guys anyways.
No, it's too much. No, it has to be balanced. Dennis from Boston says, "We are firemen. Bring Teddy Atlas back." Do you guys want Teddy Atlas back on ESPN? I don't know, man.
I like him. He always makes me laugh. He can be a dickhead and shit. Little conceited, self-absorbed.
Have you met him, Jimmy?
And shit. Oh yeah, many times.
How is he in person?
I see him all the time. Kind of the same fucking way, and got worse as he got popular after Tyson.
Oh yeah.
Like, I knew him back when he was a nobody. Like, back when he was just a dude at the fucking in the locker rooms with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
When he was with the kids he brought down from New York, or what they call Team Vermont. But it's a part of New York that doesn't have a team, so they're part of Team Vermont. They combine the two. That's why when people hear Tyson fought for Team Vermont, they get all confused. Thought he was the Catskills.
Yeah. All right. Munguia versus Derevyanchenko. Munguia wins a unanimous decision. Did you guys catch the fight, first of all? It was at the same time.
Yeah, I caught the fight, but there was a power outage here in the Philippines, so I had to charge up like a little power bank and connect it to the modem. And I was watching a tablet and the phone at the same time, so I watched it like in this little ass phone. But I did watch it. It was a good fight, entertaining fight. Munguia gets caught a lot. That's the thing, man. When he gets his head snapped back, like a fucking bobblehead dog. Bobblehead dog. And that's what it is, man. He still won, though, a close fight. You think it was a robbery, Bucho?
To be honest, now I can't really say because after like round 6 or whatever, that Teofimo Lopez fight started. So I had 2 screens, but I wasn't really paying attention to it. Then I just noticed that, I saw the knockdown. But again, I wasn't scoring the fight, so maybe it wasn't a robbery. I'm not sure, but a lot of people are saying it was a robbery. But holy shit, I mean, like you said, Munguia has no defense. Like I don't see any improvement. But there's moments when you see Munguia like throwing like good combinations, 1-2, and then left hook to the body. That looks nice and beautiful when he manages to control distance. But there's other moments where I don't know. This guy looks like a fucking amateur, a complete amateur. It's just frustrating to see this guy fight, to be honest, because there's no improvement. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, there's a reason he's been matched softer than tissue paper, right? He's fighting guys like Gabe Rosado and shit. And, Derevyanchenko, who is worn the fuck out. Might have looked good last night. The stream, first round ended. Just the zone went down. And I was going to stay up all night waiting for it to come back up. So that's why I haven't even seen the whole fight yet. But they picked Derevyanchenko because he was sharp worn. Well, you should be able to blame this kid out. It just goes to show you what would have happened to him if he would have fought. Thank God the fucking Nevada wouldn't allow that fight, or was it Nevada? Wouldn't allow the Triple G Munguia fight back in 2017.
Oh yeah,
when it was first talked about. Remember that? But
they allowed McGregor, Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Yeah, they didn't allow the Munguia Golovkin fight to take place. Yeah, but Jimmy, I heard that this was a 12-round fight, but Golden Boy, from what I understand, had offered Derevyanchenko more money or something to make it a 10-round fight, and he refused. Derevyanchenko refused to accept that. So why would they do that? All of a sudden,
is that official or is that a rumor?
Well, that's what the commentator said, Sergio Mora.
Okay, so all right, then it's a fact. Then, they wouldn't have said it if it wasn't fact.
But wow. I'm not sure if I got the story right. But I know that Golden Boy or somebody, they wanted a 10-round fight instead of a 12-round fight.
Because it makes your fighter punch harder. That's why. What I mean by that, when you have to fight 12, you have to hold some back in the early rounds. You know what I mean? It's the same thing like if you're going to run a marathon, it's 26 miles. You're not going to just open up on the 3rd mile, run fucking top speed as hard as you can, right? For a fucking long stretch. Because you got to hold some back because it's 26 miles.
Oh, Jimmy, so also in the fight, you're going to notice Munguia, he got extremely tired early. Like, so maybe there was something, they knew something was wrong with Munguia. His camp didn't go well, but he looked also very tired. And add to that, no defense, just a mess.
Yeah, he loads up with his punches, so he gets tired because he loads up. When you load up, you miss. It takes a lot out of you. That it takes as much energy as throwing it as it takes the negative. You know what I mean? The energy to hold the punch back from sending you fucking tippling head over ass. So, yeah, no, I've never been impressed with Munguia. Like I've said from the beginning, when I talk about him, I always say this. There's a reason they match him softer in silk pajamas because they know what they have with this kid. You know what I mean? And a technical guy with a little hand speed who's at the top of his game or even close to top of his game is going to fucking piece him up. It's going to pick him apart. You know what I mean? Someone with some decent footwork.
But Jimmy, there was a sizable crowd. And it was probably fight of the year, by the way. Let me just tell you that in advance. So it was actually a very exciting fight.
No shit. There was one of those white hypes involved, too.
Oh man. Yeah. No, but yeah.
But it was so crazy because I watched that fight last night. At no time did race even enter my mind. You know what I mean? Maybe because I don't look at Hispanic people as a different race. Growing up, I was surrounded by Hispanic people. I just thought, I'm surrounded, they're Italian, they're Greek, and they're Spanish. I don't look at Spanish people as a different race. So, I don't know, whatever.
It's becoming really weird now. Me too. I never, looked, I saw it as American, but not as a black American or a white American.
Nationality, not a different race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never broke it down by race. It was just different nationality.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, guys, I'm going to open the phone lines. Gonzalo, you want to say something about this fight, I think?
No, just saying, man. Munguia's a good fighter, but he gets hit a lot. That's my main concern. And Derevyanchenko's not a gigantic puncher. There's other guys that hit harder, especially in those divisions, man. You can't keep eating shots like that and rely that just because you have a good chin, just continue taking the punches, because eventually you're going to get fucked up.
Let me ask you real quick before we go to the lines, Bucho. The Triple G who faced Canelo in the third fight, if he had fought Munguia that night, what do you think the outcome would be?
Well, yeah,
But your show now.
Yeah.
Your show is scheduled to start in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
GGG's. When Munguia was 24, he wouldn't have been ready.
Well, I'm talking about just this when Canelo fought Triple G. Is that what I meant? Like, if it wasn't said of Canelo, that was Munguia in there that night, I believe Triple G would have beat him. My point being, and look at, he's 41 years old, and if he's gonna, if Triple G at 41 beats him, it is what it is.
Okay,
I just don't think,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
All right, guys, we already have a phone call here, so let's take it. 323, you're on the air. 323.
What's going on, fellas? Don Madrazo's here.
What's up,
buddy?
Fight. Yeah, what's going on, man? I watched the Munguia and Derevyanchenko fight after, and I gotta say, man, there's something fundamentally wrong with the way they're moving these fighters in Golden Boy, because it's going to be another case of Zurdo. Like, this kid, he fought a shop-worn Derevyanchenko, and I thought he lost the fight. He was just getting his head snapped back.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting hit to the body. Derevyanchenko was doing beautiful work to the body, to the head, and I'm like, how old is this guy? And somebody mentioned he was 38. I couldn't believe it, man. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know why Golden Boy has invested so much into this kid. His best defense is his offense, but when that doesn't work, I don't know if it's too late to bring someone else in to train him, but I don't really think there's a future for this guy at all. I mean, poor kid. He's just getting his head beat in, and I gotta say, he's got a chin like a granite iron chin. This guy's built of something else, because he was taking some horrible blows. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was a Golden Boy Promotions fight, I think the ref should have stopped it at some points, because he was just getting his face bashed in pretty bad. Even with the knockdown in the last round and the last two rounds, he did show up. But even with those two good rounds and the 10-8 round, I had him losing by at least one round. I definitely didn't have this guy winning at all. And the fact that they were celebrating like they had won the fight right after just showed me that there was some fuckery going on with the judges' scorecards, because, and I don't know. You guys have to watch the fight. It was entertaining, though. I will say that. I will give you that. I was surprised. I was jumping out of my seat. I was like, holy shit. And right from the first round, they were just landing some hard leather. But I don't know. I'm not convinced with Jaime Munguia. It's a matter of time. He's got to fight someone good, and once he does fight someone good, it's going to be over for that kid. And I don't think it's a wise investment to go with people like that. So,
all right.
Anyway, I'll yeah. I thought it was a robbery.
Calling.
Yeah, and I already made my comments.
I
made my comments about Taylor and what's his name last night. So that was a good win for Teofimo. Congrats to him, and you guys have a good Sunday.
All right, take care. See you next time. By the way, guys, hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. It's really going to help the show. We only have 57 likes and 190 people watching here. Come on, 57 likes. That's pathetic. Let's get it to 100, please. We can do it. We can do it. Also, Action Jackson compared him to a cheap version of Fernando Vargas. Fernando Vargas was a very good boxer, man. I mean, Munguia is not even like, Vargas was levels ahead of Jaime Munguia. Just saying. 210, you're on the air. 210.
Hey, what's up, guys? Calling back. I called last night. What's up, Jimmy?
What's up, brother?
Chilling, man. I love your passion, man. Don't let these idiot callers kind of like put a sour taste in your mouth, man. I'm a Mexican American dude, and on behalf of our guys, I want to apologize for the idiots like Shadow Man. I'm sorry, man. Those guys piss me off worse than the LDBC types because they make us look bad. You know what I mean? Like, I just wish y'all would just cut them off.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the military. Everybody's one, right? So that's just how I grew up. But yeah, I get like it's raw. I like that anybody can say anything on the show. But when a guy says the same racist things every call, that's just crazy. I wish y'all would just cut him off, man. I know y'all don't want to be censored and y'all want to kind of be like free balling, but man, that dude's an idiot. But anyways, yeah, man, I enjoyed the fights last night. I agree. Munguia is Zurdo. He reminded me of Zurdo, man. That caller, had it on point because that's the first person I thought of. And Golden Boy's not a good outfit, and thank God for the zone. They would be, wouldn't be around, and Ryan Garcia. But I just want to give a different perspective for fans listening in. I'm a fan of promoters. I know people say that's a no-no, but fuck that. I grew up watching Top Rank. Top Rank made trilogies. They had guys fighting young versus young. We had Barrera Morales, Ward Gotti. I mean, you go down the list. I grew up going to Top Rank fights, watching Top Rank fights. They worked with Don King. They were in court together, suing each other, and they still made fights at the same time. So when it comes to that, like, I just want to put a case for the promoters because I've helped local promoters, and I'll tell you this: working with fighters is a hassle. If you guys knew, I mean, I'm sure y'all know, but if fans knew with the diva demands, how a lot of these guys are crooks and they'll steal, man, a lot of these fans ain't putting their own money up on the table to invest in these guys. It's the promoters that got to put up this money that they don't get back. So, Top Rank puts on another good show. Prime versus Prime guy. Teal's going to go on for this. He's healthy. I think the weight thing is what made the difference. But yeah, man, I know y'all got a lot of callers, man. I got so much to say, man. I got to apply for one of y'all's positions, man, because I always feel like I can't get it all off my chest.
Try to jump on Friday, man. Try to jump on the Friday show if you can. All right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you guys rock.
All right. Thanks for calling, man. Call back again next time. Take care.
Have a good one.
There's other people that want to audition to be on the panel, on the regular panel. I don't know how we can do this, but we might be able to, I don't know, have
No, I would do, like, give him a shot, like, if someday he wants to come on, right? Like, if we're having a topic, if, like, a day that I got something else going on, you can come on, it's good to have guys in the bullpen, right? Guys you can count on in case Gonzalo and I have something going on that we can't get out of or something, or if you just want more voices. Sometimes it's good when we have a big panel.
On the BDA editions, Mucho.
I was going to say that. We're going to have videos. Yeah, because I've gotten messages from people saying, yeah.
And I would, the guys have been listening all these years. Like, there's guys like him. He's been listening for a long time. He calls in regular guys who donate to the show. If they want to, do that, like, they've earned it. You know what I mean? That's how I would do it. Get guys in the bullpen.
And I wish I could hear
big fans of the show.
Yeah, I wish I could hear what every one of you guys wants to say. I mean, because that's why we try to have the open lines Friday, but I know not everybody is available at that time and on that day. So, maybe we can have more shows that are open lines or like Jimmy said, just maybe like a rotation type of thing. Well, anyways, guys, we have a lot of phone calls. So let's get through this call.
Because I just want to say, I know what it's like, dude, to be a caller and you get all this shit going through your mind and you're like, you're conscious of the time and you're like trying to get it all out. You don't want, you know what I mean? It sucks. So I feel his pain.
Yeah, because you're kind of like, you feel rushed maybe. Well, anyways, let's take a...
Of course,
yeah. Let's take a... I'm like, yeah. I'm rushing everyone. 419, you're on the air. 419.
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
What's up, man? What's on your mind?
This is Raphael 32. This is Raphael 32 calling out of Toledo. I called last night. Munguia, well, y'all know Munguia, he won the title at 154 versus Saddam Ali, right? Initially, he was supposed to fight Triple G, but what was it, like the sanctioning bodies didn't, I forget which one it was. They didn't want him to fight, but fearing he was so young at a time. He was prime in his early 20s, and at 154, a fight couldn't be made because Al Heyman, you know, he didn't want to do business with Oscar. It's really kind of like the last caller was saying about the promoters doing business together. Jaime was a world champion at 154. I don't blame him, or I don't blame him. But you know, if another promoter doesn't want to, you know, do business with another promoter, the fans lose out on that. And we saw that with Crawford versus Spence. You know, we should have got to that fight 5 years ago. Munguia still is a tough fighter to me. I think he can beat Charlo, but as I say that, I thought Taylor was gonna wipe the floor with Tio, and I said this last night also. He talks about the black fighters, but last night he sure fought his ass off like a black fighter with the shoe shine, with the lunging punches, with the froze. He was froze. You know, those are stuff people do in sparring, and he was just on fire last night. Munguia, you know what I mean? Derevyanchenko is no joke. You know, Derevyanchenko was what, like 38, almost 40, maybe 40. You know, he's still of those Eastern European fighters, you know, up in age like that because they start late. Those are good fighters. Munguia was just the younger fighter. It was no robbery. You know, I could see if people thought that Derevyanchenko should have won, but hey, what's his name, knocked Derevyanchenko down, Munguia, you know, and you could tell Munguia had been in a war from his face. Now, as far as who Tio should fight next, because I'm not going to try to even try to figure out who Munguia could fight next because it's so much shit. They need to, you know, and him and Bob have done business before. So, you know, I can't think of any 154 pounders Bob has now. But as far as Al needs to see this and be like, okay, I have to do business with this guy. Now, as far as Teofimo Lopez, to me, I think his next fight should be against Devin Haney because Regis Prograis, Cerebro, Matias, and Barbosa, 140 is so hot. It's so hot. Those guys are natural 140 pounders. Devin Haney coming up to 140 pounds versus Tio, because this is Tio's, it will be, if he fights Devin, it'll be his third fight at 140. I like that better for Tio. Again, I was wrong. I thought Taylor was going to wipe the floor with Tio. But I still feel Progress beats everybody at 140.
All right. Well, thanks for calling, all right? Well, call back again next time.
Thank you, man.
Take care.
Y'all be cool, Bucho. Bye.
Yeah, all right. He wants to see. I also want to see that Devin Haney fight, but I also want to see that Progress fight. There's a lot of fights out there for Teofimo Lopez, which is great. 661, you're on the air. 661. Oh, wait a minute.
Yo, Bucho.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna just keep my composure. I already got my point across. You know, you just listen to the Friday stream. I said everything that needs to be said, like the prophet that I am, right? Now, we heard Gonzalo say what he said, yap, this and that, the box. I respect Gonzalo. I'm not trying to disrespect Gonzalo for I respect his boxing take, right? We heard him pick Ryan versus Tank, right? But when it comes to this Scottish honky who is a racist who disrespected Jose Ramirez and showed his racist true colors, he picked the white guy, right? But this is let me break it down real quick. And this loser who caught earlier, who said, "Oh, you know, I joined the military," and that's what losers do because they have nothing going for themselves. So they want to feel like, oh, you know, let me join the military, stay busy, do something with my life.
Listen, let's keep it boxing here. Listen, shut up.
Right,
let's talk about. This is in the second Renaissance. You know, like you're going off.
All right. I just want to say, I said everything that needs to be said. Jimmy's response is a typical Trump-loving, China-hating bum.
All right, this is in boxing, man. Let's talk Teofimo. What's next for Teofimo? What's next for Teofimo?
Right? I'm talking Teofimo.
No, you're talking about Jimmy. You're talking about Jimmy. You're talking about Gonzalo, the caller. Yeah. Like stick to boxing, man.
I have a perfect credit score. I never used the credit card.
All right, who cares? We don't care. We don't give a shit.
Let me get the deal. And I also heard you say that Mexicans don't like Benavidez. That's because you're racist. China haters. They love Benavidez. Julio Cesar Chavez,
I don't know, man. Benavidez is...
all of them, they respect Benavidez. It's only you white boys who want to act like Canelo is the best Mexican boxer ever. No, nobody cares.
Nobody
Just
said
like
that.
Everything I've showed,
nobody
you
want
to double down.
Nobody said that. Shadowban, nobody said Canelo. Mexicans hate Canelo. Half of Mexico hates Canelo. A lot of Mexicans hate Canelo. You just go to the comment section. Go on Twitter. Go on TV Azteca. Go on TV Azteca on Instagram. Go on TV Azteca on Instagram and read that fucking comment section. They're always shitting on fucking Canelo. Like, go read it.
He gets a lot of hate too because he's popular, so it's like it's going to be a balance. But I just
there you go. So
you hear these people talk about taxes, tax paying. Oh, these illegals taking our taxes. Do they ever talk about these black people? These NFL players?
Listen, Shadowban.
They're crackers.
You gotta jump on the second renaissance, all right, man. All right, we got a lot of phone calls.
Steel's the best.
All right.
Fuck you, cracker.
All right, take care, man. This is. We need him for the second renaissance, but like here is like it's too much, man. 562. You're on the air. 562.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
What was that guy going on about? Anyway, I'm curious. On the post fight with Teo, what was the belt Taylor's team was trying to hold from him? You saw him kept asking for the belt. One of the trainers was holding it. He's like, "Hey, give it." What was that?
I didn't see that. No, I don't know.
One of the belts they're trying to hold from Teo, and he was getting all upset. Then he did his post-fight interview. I was just like, what the fuck are they trying to hold from him? But anyway, I was impressed as hell with Teo. I felt like his dad, wasn't being a complete idiot like he usually is, especially in the corner. I feel like, do you guys feel like Teo's dad is actually a major part of his game plan in that corner?
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
He wanted the ring belt. He wanted Taylor to hand him over the ring belt for the lineo that represents I'm the guy. So he wanted that one.
Why wouldn't they give it to him though? Like, he took all the belts?
I don't know.
But
I think that one has his name on it. It says it's gonna say Ring Magazine and it's gonna say Josh Taylor on it.
Yeah, it's his belt. They're supposed to get this happens all the time. Like remember Lennox Lewis and who was the guy who's stopped Lennox Lewis? What was his name? Rahman. Yeah, there was a whole dispute about the belts. The belts that you get are yours, and you keep them, and then they make a copy of those belts and give it to the other guy. So, that's what.
But actually, on the ring one, it's gonna say the name.
Also, exactly. Yeah. So, why would he want that? No, that's his belt.
Well, anyway, I felt like I don't know how much Teo's dad was helping out, but he wasn't screaming in his face, "Knock this fucker out already" or anything. Like, I know, it's only him giving the instructions, but I was impressed as hell with Teo. Even though he was being a little bit stupid sometimes, trying to bait him in, I didn't want to make a dumb mistake. He came up with a pretty good game plan, especially against a bigger guy.
Mm-hmm. So what do you want to see next for Teofimo Lopez, though?
I feel like he'll beat Haney, but he's not going to fight Tank. I don't think they're going to make that fight happen.
No.
So if it's not that, Regis Prograde would be a good one. But like you said, he's going to go get his child back, apparently. I don't know what that whole story is. I didn't know about that. So I don't think we'll see him for the rest of the year, but we'll see.
All right.
But anyway,
hopefully we do. All right. We'll call back again, man. Good call. Take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I want to see Teofimo Lopez fight again this year. Why not? Why the fuck not? 347, you're on the air, 347.
Gentlemen, how are you?
NPR voice.
What's going on, guys?
Going pretty good, man. I want to hear your take on this.
I thought it was a brilliant fight. It's it was one of those fights where you go, it's a for real fight. It wasn't phony. It wasn't, jab and grab and all kinds of nonsense and playing for points or something. It's one of the most honest fights we've seen in a long time. And Teo is brilliant because he's basically a counterpuncher, right? That's where he does his best work. But he was also doing such athletic things, not going back in a straight line. Fantastic. I mean, I was just so pleased. Jimmy, were you just happy about the way that fight went down?
Jimmy's not here. He dropped out for some reason. But
okay. What about you? I mean, were you pleased? I mean, you didn't feel like it was a robbery. You didn't feel like, you weren't waiting for the next shoe to drop. I mean, were you excited for that fight? The way that fight, it was a real fight. What do you think?
I was just disappointed with Josh Taylor. He didn't show up for this fight though. After 2 rounds, there was nothing.
I believe he won the first 3 and then lost at the end of the 4th. He just got stuck. What's his name? Just got loose and started timing him. I believe he won 3 in a row. But barely, it wasn't, dominant or anything. But I think, a guy's knees go after a certain amount of time. And Teo was definitely on his, it's a shame because Teo, age-wise, you could see he's on his way up at a time when boxing is just not worth it anymore. People are worried about their investments and losing their homes. So I don't think we're going to see Teo again, by the way. I think Teo's done. They're going to, as I said, I put this out the other day, it's going to be a long time till boxing matters at all. It won't matter internationally for a long, long time. It's going to be because it's an expensive sport to run.
Really?
It's such an expensive sport. It's so high value. Insurance costs and everybody gets a cut. It's just so expensive. It's not worth it. That's what I think anyway. So I don't think we'll see Teo out there again. The next fight I think is Crawford and Spence. That's the next fight that's going to come
that
up.
Fight and Inoue.
You're only going to see local
versus Fulton. Inoue versus Fulton. Inoue versus Fulton.
When is that?
I think it's on the same date. I think, or the week before that.
Okay.
Yeah, in Japan.
Well, that's going to be. I mean, if you notice on the schedules, there are no international fights anymore. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, no, there's nothing.
Because it's going to. Yeah, there's nothing. There's a reason for that. Because there's all kinds of economic turmoil, all kinds of things going on in the world.
Yeah.
So they're doing this, whatever they're doing in the world, right? And it's going to be a long, long time till boxing matters again, but it's going to start out locally. As I said, city versus city, Atlanta versus Detroit versus Seattle, or something like that. Seattle versus Dallas, kind of like our local guy that we all back from our city versus that guy, and so you'll have an American thing, and that'll be it as far as American boxing goes. Same thing is going to happen with basketball. It's going to consolidate.
Yeah, I think with every sport. I mean, if we go into a recession or even a depression, then you're going to see a lot of sports get hit, right? Because, like you said, I mean, not only boxing, but a lot of sports. These players are overpaid.
All of them.
Say, yeah.
All of them, and then it's going to be a very kind of localized thing. Now, another thing that usually happens when countries do this kind of let's just call it a consolidation, okay? Is that because all things are like consolidating around cities, let's say. So when countries go through periods like that, you tend to see just one thing that unites everything on the international stage. So that one thing is usually soccer. So on the international stage, the only kind of thing that could draw that massive amount of support on the international stage are the kind of is soccer.
Yeah.
So
NPR, I gotta cut you. This is going. There's other phone calls here. Sorry to cut you off, and we gotta move on. But like,
yeah, man. Anyway,
yeah.
Whatever happens in life, gentlemen, I wish you absolutely the best. Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling. Call back again next time. See ya.
God bless. All right.
All right. Let's take another phone call here. 646. You're on the air. 646.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Man, I hear you pretty. You sound pretty bad, man. You're on speaker or some shit.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Give me a minute. Just 1 minute.
I'll give you a minute. Oh shit! I'm muting the guy. All right. Here we go again. I'm gonna unmute him. Yep. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you sound perfect now. Go ahead.
You got me?
Yes.
All right, great, man. Thanks for taking my call. Anyway, as always, you guys are doing a wonderful show. I'd like to mention just maybe about 3 things. That's it. As far as Derevyanchenko versus Munguia, I didn't see the fight. Wasn't interested. The zone isn't getting any of my money with the garbage they're putting on. Sorry, I missed it. But having said that, by what I'm hearing, that Derevyanchenko, there's some controversy as to the way he lost. Actually, it might be to his benefit, because right now I would urge Top Rank to give Derevyanchenko a call and put him in against Johnny Beck, because Johnny Beck is devoid of good opponents, and having that Derevyanchenko it just lost controversially to Munguia, it would be a way of legitimizing Johnny Beck as a true boogeyman, depending on the performance he would get against Derevyanchenko, and it would be an opponent that people couldn't be too critical of. You understand what I'm saying? It's not as if he's coming off of knockout laws and things like that. That's one thing. The other thing is to that guy, what's his name, Shadowbrand, I found it ironic that he's bigging up Teofimo Lopez and bashing everybody on site as Trump supporters and that. When Teofimo Lopez actually loves Trump, he goes to the UFC, gets pictures with him. It's like that's his man. So he might get a notification on that. Just a note, okay? And the other thing, let me see. A lot of people are not paying attention, and I'm going to tell you, I know you guys may not agree with me, probably won't, but a sleeper in as to who Teo fights next would be George Kambosos. And I'll tell you why. Depending on how Kambosos looks in his next fight, I know it's going to be at 135, but I'll tell you why. Kambosos brings a country with him, right? And at 135, he's food for everybody at 135 that Top Rank has. I mean, like, utter food. So why would he take a beatdown against a Keyshawn Johnson, against a Murataya, against whomever they got down there at Top Rank, all those little beasts at 135, when he could simply move up, challenge Teo after looking good in his next fight? And I can guarantee you that Australia, Duco Promotions, who put on the last fight for Kambosos, and is paid him all that crazy money. He made over like $10 million in those 2 fights. Would actually buy that fight because it would be intriguing. It would be a revenge fight, which Top Rank loves to make whenever one of their fighters gets beat by somebody. They do a rematch and look how he looks now, and it's a revenge fight. It would be a good fight. It was sell in Australia. And the other thing is that the resentment that Teo built up against Top Rank was the genesis. Started with Australia because he was promised an $8 million payday against Cambosos in Australia by Duco Promotions. That was in the works, but what happened is that because of the pandemic, Australia shut down, and then that threw the thing into flux, and Teo could not fathom how he could go from being offered $8 million for a fight to now making $1.5 million. He didn't understand that that the fight was worth what it was in Australia and not anywhere else. So I think that Duco Promotions would and Australian television would actually be intrigued to get Teo back against Cambosos. Before you say that, well, why would you want to see that? I think that it's a fight that they could sell to the Australian public because Cambosos already has a win against him. So it could be, you understand what I'm saying? It's not that far-fetched to sell a fight like that, although we all know what would happen in that fight.
Could sell.
And Teo, who's looking for a big payday, would probably be willing to go to Australia. And as far as Teo with this Bud Light on that Bud Light, it's like, let me tell you something. Teo is snake bitten. He gets a big endorsement deal, but with Bud Light. With Bud Light.
Yeah.
Now that everybody's hating on Bud Light, it's so crazy, man. It's okay. I feel bad for the kid. It's one of the most mesmerizing performances under the conditions I've ever seen take place in a boxing ring. I'm not even embellishing or exaggerating in that you got to understand that I thought he was, like he was a manic depressive and he's coming apart at the seams, and then he puts on that performance against that level of opponent. It's something. He's back on top of the what is that? The junior welterweight division. He's back on top of the boxing world. I know he's not going to get any tanks, so or Rolly Romero. But if not the Cambosos fight, I can see happening. I can see Haney and Teo making a mega fight. That would be because they've had beef for years, and Haney moving up. Maybe take a fight, a tune-up fight, a two-fight deal with Top Rank, one of those things, a tune-up fight with good $3 million payday in a tune-up fight at 140, and then put him against Teo after he beats Cambosos would be something to behold. And thanks for putting me on and taking my call, brother.
All right. Thanks for calling. Take care. All right. We have 2 super chats here. Let's take care of them. Rafael Garza, he says, can NPR guys say Joe Benedict, Arnold, Biden? All right. I don't really get the joke. Maybe you guys do. Rafael, 32, he says, Teofimo Lopez said he might retire or take a break, has issues. Some people saying he was joking. I don't know. I didn't hear that part. All right, let's get back to the panel here. We have Gonzalo. Oh, let's read a comment here from... oh, fuck. It was a Shadowban. Shadowban says, I don't do blues, lame, or that's your people overdosing on the streets. All right. Still going at it. All right. Jimmy, are you back? Are you having issues?
Yeah, I'm back. I had, yeah.
Okay.
I had a meeting with some guy from the a home appraisal guy.
Okay.
But I listened. I was listening to Shadow Band's ridiculousness.
All right, we're gonna. Oh man, yeah.
And I think that's pretty funny because he was going with Trump, whatever reason, even though Teofimo Lopez is a Trump supporter. So
yeah, I didn't even know.
Makes sense.
I didn't even know, Jimmy. I posted a picture just to.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Of course he didn't know. But another thing too. What exactly did I got to ask? What did Josh Taylor do to Ramirez that made him a racist? Just curious. I wonder if you could actually say what exactly he did.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't hear anything from Taylor that was racist.
No, but I think he meant punch him after the break. So now it's because he might just be a dirty fighter. Because I guarantee if the fucking he was white, he would have did the same thing to the dude. And I'm white, and I fucking called it out right when it happened. I said, "Yeah, man, that was low rent." So again, it's kind of funny. The dude who calls everybody racist only promotes and, goes for people of his heritage, right? Gonzalo and I we'll back no matter the race, color, creed. I don't give a fuck as long as you put it on in there, right? But we're the racists when he's a fucking Mexican nationalist for all intents and purposes. Although he hates Canelo, I don't know how that's racist. A white guy like in a Mexican born fighter makes you racist. That's another mental gymnastics. But
guys,
it is what it is.
Hit the like button, please. Let's get to 100 likes. We're at 73. Let's get to 100 likes. Also, shout out to Recognize who's in the chat. I sent you an invite if you can join. What else are people saying? Well, guys, what else can we talk about here? I mean, we broke down the fight. We talked about the Munguia Derevyanchenko fight. I don't even know what's coming up. Like, I think NPR said it. There's really nothing coming up next, all the way till that fight between, I think, Inoue Fulton or Spence versus Crawford.
Yeah, Inoue Fulton's next.
Derevyanchenko, Eric Morales in the corner over there told Munguia to stop throwing left hooks. They said, stop throwing the 45-degree punches. So he was getting caught on the inside. And as far as Taylor, man, Taylor could fight Ismael Barroso, and I'd probably pick Barroso by now. He ain't showing up, dude. Teo Haney's a good fight too. I think Teo's real quick. He's real quick. He got fast hands as a unit, fast hands and feet. As he darts in, got quick reflexes. But like hand speed, I would say Haney 1-for-1, slightly, because he don't punch that hard. His hands don't weigh that much. He's better fisted. He can release, throw quickly. But power, pop, fucking quickness as a unit, feet and hands coming in. Fucking Teofimo. Teofimo hit hard. I would favor Teofimo in that fight. The best fights are Regis, Tank, Haney.
Right. And I'd like to add that Munguia, I mean, the caller who said he'd like to see him fight, Derevyanchenko, top rank to make that fight with Derevyanchenko, I'd do one better. Why doesn't Top Rank and Golden Boy make the Munguia fight against Munguia instead of Derevyanchenko? Like, that's where it's at now. Like, that kid, Kazakh kid, what's his name? Middleweight?
Yeah, Janibek.
Janibek, thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you, brother. Janibek against, like, that's how much they mean to me. I forget their names. Like, really, it's like I don't get into these guys' lives. But yeah, Janibek against Munguia. That's the fight. You want to see if this kid's for real? Let's do it. Know why they won't? Because they're looking for the payday. Because Golden Boy has invested so much money into this kid. Years, although he's getting money back, this kid does pull crowds, but they're looking for the fucking big payday. And the problem with Janibek, it doesn't bring a payday because he's Kazakhstan, without a big fan base here. So that would be, again, somewhere in Southwest, and it would depend completely on the Mexican Americans and the Mexican fan base to support it, to be the financial backbone of that pay-per-view.
Shadow Combat. Munguia versus Berlanga.
Yeah,
go ahead, Gonzalo.
By now, this should be like the last kind of step up fight for Munguia because it wasn't for a title. Fight the names now. Well, I mean, I guess Canelo got all the belts. Who's left? Yeah, you're right. But from now on, it should just be like the top guys out there. And okay, yeah, Derevyanchenko was the top guy, but this was at a new division. So put him against McBilly, put him against Gongora, put him in against even the Puerto Rican kid that's on the come up. That'd be a good fight. Billy Joe Saunders, fucking get Charlo up to 68 too. Fight those guys, the names. If they're not the best guys out there, put them against the names now because that's what ultimately people want to see. Right? A lot of people nowadays thinks because he's popular, he's a great fighter. Well, fucking so be it. Have him face those guys.
Yeah, I agree with that though. Somebody said Berlanga. Shadow
Munguia's got more professional fights than Crawford, fucking Spence, just about almost everybody. I think Wilder might have one more or the same. He's got 42 professional fights, and he's still they're matching him like he's a fucking prospect. it's still matching him like he's a prospect. Because Derevyanchenko was guaranteed they didn't expect that to happen last night. Remember, he was handpicked to, like, what was the Vegas odds going into that? Pretty heavily for Munguia, and I think it was to stop him, too. But even though Derevyanchenko, I don't think he's ever been stopped. He's been hurt before, but metal, every time you bend it, breaks a little bit more. What's that, buddy?
Yeah, that's my frustration with Derevyanchenko, Jamie. He's always getting dropped. Dropped early, now getting dropped late, and that one singular fact, like the fact that he gets dropped, costs him the fights always.
Yep.
All right.
So he was supposed to win, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bucho, one thing about another 40-pounder that's got a lot of buzz around him right now. Luke, what's his name? Matisse, the Puerto Rican kid? What's his first name?
Who?
The Puerto Rican dude, Matisse.
Subriel 140.
Subriel
Matias. Yeah. I said you was welterweight. Yeah, junior welterweight. Yes.
He's a good fighter, but I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. The way he's walking fools down and throwing 90 to 100 punches per round, that style is not gonna fare well against a guy that got power. This is what I've been waiting to see. Subriel Matias fight a guy that can crack. Because are you gonna tell me that guy's gonna get on your face and throw 90 to 100 punches and catch a lot of the punches and take them just to land his, when he faces a guy like Teofimo that can crack, he's going to be able to do that, like, without being defensively responsible? No, he's going to have to watch out and not be so active. So that's the thing, man. That style is good. It's a great style, but you can't just walk through everybody. And Teofimo, I mean, he hit hard.
Guys, we have a poll.
Can I just add something?
Yes.
Oh,
Go.
I was going to say real quick, Xander Zayas, we haven't talked about him. I just want to say how pumped I was that he went back to hands up, catching and shooting style, putting his hands up, turning his palms towards his opponent, but keeping his hands up. For the last two fights, he started going more into that Philly shell thing, with his left hand down, and he was catching a lot. He was getting hit a lot. I didn't like the way he looked the last two fights, and I was going into last night's fight, I remember saying, God, I hope that kid, they've made that adjustment. He's not doing that anymore. Maybe because this kid's a power puncher, but he started out, he wasn't his hands down like that at all. So good on him. I thought he looked sharp last night, and he's still only 19 years old.
We created a poll yesterday, and the question was, who should Teofimo Lopez fight next? I could only add 4 boxers to the poll, so I added Prograis, who's at the top with 38%. After that is Devin Haney with 34%, Tank Davis with 23%, and Subriel Matias with 5% only. So people want to see that Prograis fight.
He well against lefties, and he proved it tonight against Taylor. So if he does well against lefties, that should benefit him against Tank and Prograis. I can't remember if Matias is lefty, but yeah.
Well, and we got to know what it is, dude. Honestly, we need to stop putting adding Tank's name to these things, because it's not fair. You know what I mean? It's like, why even? That's a name. It's promotion through name association. Like, don't even associate dude's names with like someone like Teofimo Lopez. He's never gonna fight him. Are you kidding me? Never. He's not gonna fight Haney. He's not gonna fight. Definitely not gonna fight Shakur Stevenson. On a bet, he'd jump in front of a fucking bullet train before he fought Stevenson. So, yeah, he'll feast on fucking handpicked no-hopers. And he caught lightning in a bottle with Garcia, who was stupid enough not to listen to his fucking people who know him and his style and his abilities the best. We're all telling him, no, this isn't a good idea. And he was his typical fucking, no, nobody's going to tell me what to do. I got 11 million people who like to look at me with my shirt off. And how did that work out? So,
yeah, credit to Tio also, Jamie and Bucho, because he didn't jump in there like he did against Cambosos, like very overeager, and I think that's what was costing. That's why he was getting dropped many a times, because he was getting caught cold. You know, so now he warmed up to the situation. He decided to box. I know he said he wanted to kill him, but that was like a strategy. He really went in there to box. And once he warmed up to the situation, he started growing in confidence. So he didn't get caught cold. And that's going to benefit him, especially now that he moved up 5 pounds north. I mean, I think the guy could take a punch. The way he took freaking Taylor's punches, I like that. He looked pretty solid. His head wasn't flying all over the place. He ate him like nothing. Yeah, so that's a good neck. That's a good thing.
Yeah, because he took some big shots at some point.
It's an individual thing, but I'm going to put him at in the number 10 spot. I'm going to take Haney out of there. I'm going to keep Lomachenko at number 9, but I'm going to put him in there.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, whoa, just to make this dramatic, but I fucking agree with you. By the way, we should have another pound for pound show soon. Now that we had this, this change in the pound for pound rankings, basically, because Teofimo should be in that top 10 pound for pound list, in my opinion. Maybe not top 5 yet, but he might be on his way if he continues. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, Butcher, know what it is. It's 2 different training camps. Completely different training camps. His training camp with Cambosos was all about, this is the punch I'm going to land and knock that fucking no hoper out. It was all about, you know what I mean, working on it. But when you're going into somebody, working on his offense, meaning like his best power punches and just, that type of shit. But when you're going into this camp with Josh Taylor, because he knew, go by his resume, and you prepare differently. You run harder. You get that, when the burn comes to your lungs, you push through it. But when you're fucking fighting a dude that you know in your brain that you're just going to smoke, and he read his own, headline. So it's the thing why does everybody always look so good against Lomachenko? Is because going against Lomachenko or any highly skilled guy, or if you're going against somebody like Shakur Stevenson, if you don't have a good camp, they're going to fucking expose you. So people always tie it in with their best camps in when they're, not nervous, but, nervous is a good thing, I guess. The fear of losing a fight makes you train harder. But when you have no fear, when you're overconfident, and all you're doing is just training to get in the right shape, make weight, just so I go in and knock this dude out, that's a completely different mindset.
He might have that mindset now, man. It's Sterling Banders. Thank you for contribution. He says, Samson said they're going to make Benavidez versus Morel, David Morel. Who y'all got? I think David Morel could take him. This is all if Canelo doesn't fight him. Morel versus Benavidez. Do you guys think that Morel can take out Benavidez? How many fights does Morel even have?
13. A lot of fights, but he's a good fighter. He hits hard, so that's a good fight. I don't know who would win, but Benavidez is a big dude, so he's going to rehydrate heavy, and if Morel was hitting like the smaller dudes and knocking those fools out, I don't think he's going to have his way that easily with David Benavidez, considering Benavidez throws a lot of punches. And I know that output went down now that he added muscle. But it's a good back and forth fight.
It's a good fight.
And
and if Benavidez doesn't get that fight, then he should. If Benavidez doesn't get the Canelo fight, then he should fight somebody like Morel. Let's stop this bullshit where, I can get the Canelo fight, that's why I'm fighting like a washed-up boxer. No excuses, man. No excuses. By the way, Stagger Lee Goods, thank you for your contribution. He says Munguia from prospect to gatekeeper. He's moving him down in the rankings here. I don't know what you call him, but yeah, the boxing hierarchy. He's now a gatekeeper.
Damn. I mean, he's not a real great inside fighter, but he's still a pressure fighter from the outside, like from mid-range. He's kind of hell on wheels still. He brings pressure with the body punching. It's just the fact that he gets hit a lot. Kind of makes me question how far he can go, but he's still a good fighter.
Yeah, and I was off about Morel. Now he's only got 9 fights.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Benavidez, yeah. And if you look at his resume, he just that would be such a big jump. You know what I mean? Like you can look good. Like imagine how good a professional baseball team would look playing a high school team, right? But when they play another professional team, it's a sport that all about taking advantage of another guy's mistakes. And the better you are, the less mistakes you make.
Yeah. Shadow Combat saying Munguia and Benavidez, the same fighter. I don't know, but I mean, no. I mean, skill-wise or what? Super Sardonic says, fighting Falcao to the Mexican Coke Monster. Okay. Mark says, Morel beat up a substitute teacher. I mean, yeah, people are questioning his record. But, yeah, we'll do a show on the super middleweight division eventually, I guess.
Somebody 9-0 shouldn't even be discussed as a championship fighter. Go, Gonzalo.
Yeah, I was gonna mention. You notice how Teofimo's dad wasn't brought up in the conversation a whole lot. He kind of dialed it down. Credit for him for doing that. But I mean, it's kind of cool to talk about the old man when he's fucking acting like a clown too. So I mean, that can kind of also be cool. But yeah, look, I think that a lot of the times. Well, let me rephrase that. I think that Teofimo Senior's like impatience and exuberance, he acted like that a lot because he wanted people to believe that his son was a good fighter ever since he was a little kid. And now that he's proven that he beat Teofimo and he went up in the division and he beat the guy at that division, now the dude can calm down. I think that's the way he is. I think that's the way he thinks. Now all that like, look at my son, watch my son, this and that. He's kind of like calmed down already because he's proven something in boxing now. So the old man can take a break. Right?
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, nothing.
Okay.
You know, it's not important if you want to take a phone call, but I just got to say, by the way, when you don't use credit cards, you get a lower credit score. So not using credit cards or not owning them doesn't give you a good credit score.
Oh, yeah,
so
they don't know.
He should,
I guess.
Yeah, he should know that, someone his age, but that's kind of strange, but whatever.
All right. I think we should end the show. There's not much to talk about unless there's something you guys want to focus on here or in the chat if you guys have anything else. Oh, guys, don't forget to hit the like button and check out Mr. BDA's documentary. It's actually pretty fucking good.
Excellent.
Posted yesterday. It's breaks down the Inoue versus Fulton fight. So check it out.
Great job. I'm glad you brought that up, Bucho. Shame on me because I meant to. I even wrote it down to make sure. I saw it 18 minutes after he posted it. It was like when I saw it was a duck because I was so impressed with his best of 23. It's just he's got skill. He puts it together. The soundtrack, they flow. Then there's never boring spots. No, he does such a great job, man. He grabs like headlines and he grabs fucking fighters, their opinions. Just ties it in. He really does a fabulous job. I'm not just saying that because he's my friend.
What I like
about
this you get a quick rundown of each boxer's careers. So where they struggled, who they fought, and the roads, the paths that they had to take. In order to like meet each other now at
he could put that right on HBO Boxing. If HBO Boxing was still on, they could put that on between fights. That's the quality he does. It's excellent.
Very good documentary, guys. Check it out. If you guys are not very familiar with Inoue, because I think a lot of us aren't. Let's just say that just to be polite. But yeah. These people that Inoue, who has he fought? Who is he? Like you don't know shit about that. Oh, he beat Donaire. Oh wow. Like okay, anyways, the Funk Tappers. Thank you for your super chat. He says, "Good show, good fight weekend." Absolutely. Thank you for that comment to the Funk Tappers.
Thank you.
I was watching that Bucho, and I didn't know. Fulton got knocked out in the Super Six. That semi-professional.
Oh yeah, me neither.
/
Yeah, the WSS, whatever that shit's called, the semi-pro.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. He really does. He does great research. He really does. He always tries to put something in there. And every time I watch one of his documentaries, I learn something. If he was here, I wouldn't be blowing it up as much because he hates flowers being thrown at him when he's in the chat, right here in the group because he just doesn't like that. But no, it's just he did a fucking fabulous job. He always does. So, yeah, definitely watch that. But no, and people think like boxing too. Japan has got a rich history in boxing. And you know what's fucked up? Inoue isn't even his part. There was this kid, 2 Japanese fighters at the same time in the late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember their fucking name. But for some reason, they were like Garcia, but it was all girls. They everywhere they went, thousands of screaming fucking chicks showed up. Like they showed up the press conference with sunglasses on. Like, dude, it was crazy. Yeah. So they had trumpets and live bands in the fucking crowd where like they become more subdued again. You know, hopefully it'll be loud against, in the Fulton fight.
But Japanese have been always. I remember my father always telling me there was very good Japanese fighters in the past, and they had rivalries with Mexicans and stuff like that. But we're talking really the lower weight classes where they really haven't gotten, or historically did not get much attention in North America. I think that's they've had four. There was another 4-division champion too back then, or not that long ago. I can't remember what his name was, but there's some great Japanese fighters. But the thing is, like you said, they're from 108 up to 126. Yeah, it's like.
Although at one time they had Murata and somebody else. Somebody else was the first middleweight, but it's almost unheard of. It's always the smaller weight classes, and there's a certain section of boxing fans that don't pay no mind to it. So it is what it is.
Super chat from Real Boxing TV. Real Boxing TV. He says, Teofimo Lopez cooks Devin Haney. Bill was looking worried after the fight. Interesting. I mean, I think Teofimo Lopez beats Devin Haney. 30% chance Haney wins that fight, in my opinion. We haven't even seen Devin Haney at 140. So he can easily make 140 though, Devin Haney.
He's so 40 right now, man. He's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was probably 154 pounds when he went into that ring or close to it. It was definitely, definitely at least 154. He probably put on 15, 20 pounds from the weigh-in minimum. Like he's probably 155. He was a big dude, and 36 hours before the fight is ridiculous. I've always said that. I've always been a proponent of going back to the same day weigh-ins. Literally everybody, except for a couple of people, would instantly have to go up a weight class, almost across the board.
Devin Haney with no power though, Jimmy. With no power.
Oh, never. He would go. I don't even know if he'd make 140. To be honest, he might go all the way to 147. If he was the same day weigh-ins, if he had a you don't get to sleep.
No, right. No, it's a different story. I was talking about his power at 140, questioning it, because I mean the power is not even there at 135. It doesn't seem like it's there. So imagine at 140, like it's gonna be troublesome for Devin Haney. By the way, Rapax Trucking
he has
Company,
enough power to keep people. Oh, okay, brother, go.
Rapax Trucking Company, thank you for the super chat. He says Jaime Munguia is gonna break the beloved former undisputed champions Floyd's undefeated record. He's going for 50-0, guys. 50-0. Rocky Marciano. Remember that they kept repeating that like it was a big deal, like the Rocky Marciano record. Anyways, Sursayer, thank you. Sursayer, thank you for your contribution. He says, great show. Would you okay with Ouija board or toss Josus? What? I don't know what this is. Anyways. Thank you for your super chat, Sursayer, and your jokes that I don't know. I don't get, man. I'm too
What's
tired.
up, Sursayer?
But we were talking, Jimmy, about the power. He has enough power to make his opponents respect him, right, Devin Haney?
Yes, Haney has enough power to keep people honest. You know what I mean?
You better go. But the left hook to the body, Devin, the body snatcher, Haney. You know him. He loves to go to the body.
I think, but what happens? He doesn't turn his body. He doesn't turn his body over in those body punches. It's almost all arm punches.
Exactly.
If you go, no, I know you are, dude. I know you are. I'm just saying for people listening, no, that wasn't for you. Obviously, you know that. Yeah, he doesn't twist his body around on it, because everybody talks about all these body punches he hit Lomachenko with. Then why was Lomachenko the fresher one in the later rounds? If that's what you're going to say he won the fight off, was these devastating body punches, because he caught him a lot of them on the arms. And they were just, even if he hits you in the arm, it's a body punch. But that's why not all body punches are equal. And I rate a fucking direct snapping someone's head back any day of the week to a shot in somebody's arms.
And usually when you go body, like you're breaking your opponent down. And why Lomachenko have a great 10 and 11? If the mission was to break that fool down, you didn't do a good job of it.
No, you didn't.
Because Cinco dominated the 10th and 11th, and he took the 12th off. I get that. I mean, he should have fought hard the 12th, but anyhow.
Because in his mind, he actually thought he was that far ahead. Because he felt what the fucking Vegas odds makers felt, that he would need a knockout to beat Loma. Loma thought he had that many rounds won, that I'm not going to do anything to get caught off balance and get a flash knockdown and get a 2-round, make it a draw, or I get fucked out of the score. So because of that, he literally took it easy in the last round, which he shouldn't have. He just probably didn't think they would bend him over and rape him like that, embarrass the sport the way they did.
All right, let's see if there's phone calls. No phone calls. All right, we should end the show. It's been 2 hours or something. We'll have another show soon. Let's not burn ourselves out. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. There was an Asian fighter. I don't think he was a Filipino middleweight, because I know you were trying to think of Japanese middleweights. His name was Seferino Garcia. He was a middleweight, and I think he invented the bolo punch. But later, Sugar Ray copied.
He invented that? Okay. Interesting.
I don't know. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
They put it into practice.
I had a Ring magazine once that showed the top 10 best Filipino boxers of all time. I think he was there. I'm not sure. I still have it somewhere.
Yeah, I think he fought freaking Armstrong. What's that dude's name? Armstrong? Henry Armstrong?
Okay. He fought him? I don't know.
Yeah. Armstrong. I think it was a draw. With Henry Armstrong. But anyhow.
Shadow Combat has a question for Jimmy. Jimmy, what are your thoughts on the $50 million offer to Canelo?
What, from Benavidez?
I don't know. Yeah, probably that. Yeah.
Okay, well, my thing is this. Is it guaranteed? Of course it isn't. What they're doing is just using Canelo's name. They're paying Canelo his money back to him, meaning Canelo could generate $50 million for a purse, or, altogether. It depends on what he pays his opponent. But that's the kind of money you're looking at. Anytime you think Canelo's going to go fight somebody, wherever he's fighting, whether it's a parking meter or fucking Benavidez, he's going to generate between gate, site fees, pay-per-view sales. He's going to, or even if not on pay-per-view, just through gate and ticket sales and whatnot and promotion, that he's going to generate that kind of money. So they know that. So it's all they're doing is offering his money. They're saying, listen, come over here. We'll do this fight. They'll do it in Vegas or Texas. And out of the proceedings that we know your name is going to bring in 100% off his shoulders, we're going to give you 50 million of it, and we're going to keep this much. But it's not guaranteed. They're not like saying, come over here, we're going to give you 50 million, we're going to give you a check for 25 million up front in advance. No, there's no part of that that's guaranteed, because the reason why it's not guaranteed, it's exclusively depends on what money they bring in. They're not tying up any investors. They're not reaching out to BlackRock or, some hedge fund, which boxers do. Hedge funds actually, I've been finding out, invest in the fights.
Yeah, I know. It's just like 50 million. We don't know anything else. It sounds fishy.
It's his money. That's all. Yeah. Listen, if I knew I could fight you anywhere in the country that it would generate $50 million, I can offer you that. Because, they're not going to give you any money up front. You don't get a dime. And at the end, we're going to divvy up all the money. And we know, because I know you bring in that money, no matter where you fight, who you fight, brings in that kind of money, I can pay you it. I mean, $50 million, that's nothing for a fucking Canelo fight. You're talking about gate and ticket sales and fucking, revenues and all that other shit, and his endorsements. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made. They bring in whales. And then the site fee, the Vegas site fee.
Oh, yeah.
They never really say what it is, but it's probably $15 to $20 million up front. So that's like a promoter. You get the date there. I'm going to bring you Canelo Alvarez. Okay, here's a check, site fee. Here's a check for $15 million. That's going to cover whatever promotion you need to do. Fly the guys around, do whatever you have to do. So that's, so you don't have to type your own money. But the point being, if they don't guarantee money, like the zone says, we're going to guarantee you it. You get half the money up front and the other half in the back end. Like Crawford got, I guess they paid him in advance when he just fought that kid Avanesian, $10 million. They paid him in advance. So it wasn't even off anything. So that's when you take it serious. That's when you know they're serious, meaning because they're not offering up any of their own money.
Right. I mean, it's a scam, basically. I mean, they're using Canelo to generate this money, but they can't do it themselves. Is that what you were saying, Jimmy? Basically.
Exactly. Well, think about it. You think that Benavidez against Plant? There's a reason why. Look what those guys made, right? What did they make? A couple of $1 million each, I think. A couple of million each, and that's because of pay-per-view sales, of fucking gates, and the site fee. There's probably next to nothing. 100,000, 200,000, maybe. They're not drawing whales in like Canelo does. He gets the Japanese coming in and spending $2 million a hand on Baccarat and shit. So yeah, they want him in there. It draws in the gamblers. So for that reason, yeah. So that's the reason why. So you say Benavidez, all right. What does he generate? Seriously. And that's how you do the math. The metrics are out there.
Yeah. When you offer Canelo money, you're basically offering the money that he makes.
Exactly.
It's a fucking blank check with the name on it already.
Exactly. It's just you're offering him you're banking on his.
So Jimmy, he's doing you the favor. In a way, not a favor. You know what I mean? He's the one that's in control.
Of course, it's a favor. It's not like a favor. It is a favor.
Okay.
Because is the PBC going to be able to put on a show that's going to generate that kind of fucking site fees? Tank Davis might have been the fifth biggest gate in Vegas when prices of tickets have gone up compared to what they were in the past, but he's still the fifth. And guarantee he's not seeing anywhere near the site fees Canelo gets. Canelo walks into Vegas, he's like fucking, you know what I mean? He's like Rothstein back in the 70s, like everybody's kissing his ass. He draws in whales, literally, going to the casinos when he's fighting. Go see what the fucking rollers at those tables are playing. They're making that fucking casino millions and millions of dollars. So, and that's what they want. I mean, these guys spend fucking $50,000 a night on some of those suites.
All right, guys, let's take a phone call. 786, you're on the air. 786. Oh shit, hold on, caller. Give me 2 seconds. By the way, this background noise. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Nothing. I just missed the show. Sorry, guys. But I couldn't wait to come back on and get you guys' thoughts of it, Tio winning, because
there we go.
I called, this is DP, by the way, David.
All right.
I called last week, and everyone was picking Taylor, and I never got to hear Jimmy's pick because he said he was saving it. I was like, man, I wonder who Jimmy was going with. Who'd you end up going with, Jimmy?
I right down to the end, all I said was, I don't know, man. I keep going back and forth. I can see them both winning. It just depends on, is Tio's mentalness, down spiral, gotten worse than the erosion of ring rust of Taylor. And I said, whoever wins that battle is going to win this fight. That's how I said it. So I said, my gut says Lopez, because ring rust you can't do nothing about.
Yeah.
Lopez could get past all those personal mental things, but the ring rust you can't do nothing, and it completely exposed him last night. The lack of fighting, you saw it against Catrell, and then he took another 16 months off, so it only exacerbated the problem. It looked even worse. He looked the same way he did against Canelo. Like he couldn't land the punches he wanted. He never really got in a groove against him, and it just carried on to this one. And it was just an extension of it with 16 months off. So he looked like shit, even worse. And he's never going to be a top fighter again because he has no problem with fighting once a year. He's in it for he's just in it for the bag now. That's it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And what's my other buddy there on the panel? What's his name? The guy who he was telling me about the fight. I asked him what he thought.
Gonzalo.
Gonzalo, so what do you think? Because you were right. You said he needed to stay in that mid-range. That's exactly what he did. He stayed in that mid-range and counted the shit out of Taylor.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He did good. Yeah, he called me Gonzo, by the way. He did good. Credit to Teofimo.
I know. So he's in the mix now. He's in the mix, and that's all. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts. I'm at work. I wish I could talk more, but I'm gonna call back next time when I got more time. But just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts, and thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right, take care, man. Thanks for
Thanks
calling.
for the call, Luke.
All right.
And
Have a great day at work.
And Gonzalo, you did break. You said exactly what Lopez had to do in your breakdown the other night. What he had to do to be successful. Because of his height, he needs to stay in mid. Because if he's out too far, he's got too much ground to capture. And you said he's got to punch before him, get his punches off first. And if he's in the mid-range, use his speed and his athleticism. And if he can tie it all in, yeah, he can be a problem.
I mean, he did leap in the 8th round. He did leap in the 8th round, but you heard Andre Ward, what you said, Jimmy. He's not supposed to be landing those shots. He did land it.
No, he's not.
He did land it, but for the most part, trying to land those all the time wasn't going to work out for him. And if it did, it shows that Taylor didn't show up. But basically, yeah, he fought him at the mid-range. That was good that he implemented that to his game plan.
Yep. And put it this way, he's not throwing that fucking punch against Prograis. Right? Because of Prograis' athleticism. He's not going to fool him with that thing. Prograis will jump back.
You saw Prograis when he fought Chon Cepeda, how he was like hanging his head on the side. So he's a tough dude. He's hanging the head on the side, and he's looking at you from his peripheral. So he's basically waiting for you to fucking shoot. Then once he thinks you're coming in and he can catch you, he lands on you. So he's a tricky motherfucker too, Prograis. And he's probably quicker than Josh Taylor. He fights a little bit similar to like how Teofimo does too. He got a little bit of mobility in his game. Like a little bit of a sweepy too. He's like a boxer puncher.
He moves well from the hips up, from the waist up. He can, he can be slippery from the waist up. It would come down to this. Lopez, I think they're about equal on athleticism. I just think that Lopez has a little quicker, fast twitch fiber. He's just a little quicker hands. But I would give power punching to Prograis, like one punch shots.
Guys, we have another phone call here. 706. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, am I coming in clear?
Sursair.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Sursair, what's up, buddy?
Jimmy, hey, Gonzalo. Salute, Bucho. Always good shows, Bucho, when you're hosting. So here's the thing, man. Whenever I think about a good fight, right, I think about Canelo and Benavidez. I just naturally do, because I'm super Mexican everything. So why do I feel like a race trader whenever I bring that up? Like, hey, I really want to see Benavidez fight Canelo.
I don't know, man. Ask Shadowban.
just look at it as a sporting event. That's all.
But isn't that a good fucking fight? How is that not exciting? Bucho, would you not pay for that?
Of course, I want to see that fight. This is the thing. I keep saying I want to see this fight. This is what I tell Mirage. But I mean, they want to blame Canelo for this fight not taking place. I mean, I'm not sure about that. I think it's the fact that Benavidez is with the PBC. That's problem.
Well, of course, that's what it is. If he really wanted the fight, first off, he could have moved up at any time. He's been champion down there. When he won that belt at 168, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Plant was the champion then. He didn't want to make the fight. I mean, it is what it is. He never went up to 175 or did a bunch of things. He never tried to unify the division because he would. And I'm not saying that's on Benavidez or question his toughness. That's because of the people he's with. Al Heyman doesn't make those fights. He just doesn't. I mean, I just watched, somebody sent me a video he's putting together. It's crazy about all the shit about Al Heyman, man. Going back, that's just even when he started. Remember with Berto? They had to strip Berto because he wouldn't fight fucking at 140, he wouldn't fight the tall fucking Ukrainian kid that Crawford fought. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he was number one. He was his mandatory. He literally gave up his belt to fight some. Oh no, Danny Garcia. That's it. It was to fight Selka, to fight Rod Selka. I mean, and it was actually, they brought it down to a 10-round fight because so many people complained about it. The media complained about it. Ted Atlas gave a big spiel, but then it was even going back to 2013. He sent me the video. I'll show you the clip of Bucho. It's Kellerman talking about Al Heyman not making the fights, matching his guys soft. And that's the problem with him. And then Jim Lampley says the same thing. So this is just a continuous. He never makes those fights historically. And the thing is, Benavidez could have went to the zone. He was a free agent, right? He could have went to the zone, but he didn't. He chose to go back to the
that's his
PBC.
fault. We gotta blame him for that.
But yeah, he's not the
Jimmy,
inside.
Let's
it depends on where Canelo wants to fight.
Let's get Sursayer in here. Sursayer, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Sursayer, sorry, brother.
So with the Ryan Garcia, Oscar de la Hoya thing, you saw how they went back and forth, right? With like, it's always some kind of emotional Twitter thing.
Yeah, Jimmy, did you follow the whole thing between De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia?
Yes, of course. That's just, I mean, just look at, if you go follow the thread, Garcia just made an ass of himself. He's looking to blame people because remember, Oscar's got to be kind of like hold stuff back. He can't, because remember, he doesn't want to lose him as that moneymaker either, but I think he's about at his wit's end. Remember, this is a kid who pulled out of nowhere, just all of a sudden, I want more money. He wanted to negate his contract, renege, and get more money, or I'm not going to fight. Like, you knew that. You knew this kid. This is a kid who couldn't take the slightest criticism when he heard Steve Kim and Mario Lopez talk about him on the 3 knockdown rule. He fucking got all fucking balls deep in his feelings. I'm never going on that show again. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just, yeah. Kids all over the place.
I mean,
a lot of feminine energy.
Here's the thing, right? He left Reynoso, he left Goose, and now he's with the Blacks. Why don't he just make a full commitment to them? Just go with those N-words, be promoted by them, and leave us alone. And let's be done with Ryan.
I mean,
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised Derek James took him. To be honest with you, that's just, he saw the money. That's all. He saw 15% to his purse.
Sursayer, we got another phone call. So anything else?
Yeah. Just I want to give a couple of Heils. Heil Gerbils, Heil Heidenreich, and most importantly, Heil Hitler.
All right, that was Sursayer, the Mexican Nazi. His jokes are
Mexican Nazi.
Yeah. You have another phone call. 201. You're on the air. 201.
He's crazy.
Hey, good afternoon. How you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, man? What's on your mind?
What's up?
Oh, good, man. I was actually at the Hulu Theater last night, and it was a great night of boxing, in my opinion.
Jeez.
A lot of people from Scotland were there, and you actually can hear them like all the way like from the outside of outside of the Hulu Theater, like all the way in, like they were chanting for the champ. Anyway, last night I actually saw a lot of things from Theo that I like. He's looking sharp. He seems focused. He seems to be enjoying boxing right now. And Josh Taylor, I was actually kind of close from his corner, and he was actually having difficulty to breathe. Like after like the fourth round, he was gasping air. He was telling his trainer. I heard he told his trainer that I can breathe well. I need more time. Well, yeah, it was a great night for boxing. I also was able to see Bill Haley in the crowd. I actually even took a picture of him, and it makes me wonder that if Devin Haney was there, why he didn't walk into a ring, because he's mandatory by the WBO.
Okay. Well, that I didn't know.
Yeah, but anyway, have a good afternoon, guys. That was all.
All right, man. Take care.
Salute.
All right, guys. I think we should end the show. It's, we'll have another show next week. early next week. All right. So, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Guys in the chat, don't forget to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to the Second Renaissance channel. The link is in the description. And also subscribe to the BDA Gaming channel, where we play video games. Actually, we played Chivalry 2 last time. I live streamed it, but it looked like crap. I have to fix because I never stream, so yeah, it looked pretty bad. But I fixed it, so next time we play online, it's gonna look much better. BDA Gaming channel, Second Renaissance, where we talk about politics and other stuff. And that's pretty much it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to watch Mr. BDA's documentary on the Inoue versus Fulton fight. Go check that out. Great documentary. Have a good weekend.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.